Javielito, Tacos Are Life y Más, the podcast where I blend humor, culture, and genuine conversation. Absolutely, I'll dive into where to find the best tacos because honestly, tacos are life. But I'm also going to cover a whole lot more. For those on the go, this bite-sized podcast has it all. From true crime and quirky oddities to fascinating self-growth and life stories. It's your go-to place for the weird, the suspenseful, and the wonderful. Hola, my friends. Welcome back to Javielito, Tacos Are Life y Más. I am your host, Javielito, and today we're diving into a topic that's as universal as love for tacos, the 40-hour work week. Where did it come from? Why is it still the standard? And is it time to rethink it? Plus, we'll compare it to countries that have experimented with a shorter work week. Are they onto something, or is it the 40-hour grind here to stay? Let's talk about it. All right, first off, happy Tuesday to all. I hope you're enjoying some delicious tacos. And if you're not, please get some. It is Taco Tuesday after all, especially as you're listening to today's episode. Okay, empecemos. A few weeks ago, this came up in a conversation with a coworker. Why do we have to work 40-hour work weeks? Why not less? So I took it upon myself to do the research. And yes, I'm going to share it with you today. So let's start with its history. The 40-hour work week where it didn't just pop up out of nowhere, like a perfectly crispy taco shell. It was the result of decades of labor movements and social change. Picture this. Back in the Industrial Revolution, workers were grinding away, 12, 16-hour days, even 6 or 7 days a week. It was brutal. But in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, labor unions started pushing for better conditions. One of the biggest milestones was the Ford Motor Company. In 1926, Henry Ford shocked the world by implementing a 40-hour work week for his employees. Why? Because he realized that well-rested workers were more productive. Plus, they had more time to, buy cars. Then in 1938, the U.S. government made it official with the Fair Labor Standards Act, which established that 40-hour work week as the legal standard. And just like that, it became the norm. So why are we still stuck in this 8 to 5 or even 9 to 5, Monday to Friday grind almost a century later? Well, for one, it's deeply ingrained in our culture. It's the default setting of how we structure our lives. But is it still the best way to work? Some argue that 40-hour work weeks is outdated. With technology and automation, we can do more in less time. Yet, many of us are still chained to our desks, counting down the hours till Friday. And let's be real, how many of those hours are actually productive? Studies have shown that the average worker is only productive for about 3 hours a day. The rest, meetings, phone calls, emails, and scrolling through TikTok and whatnot. Now, let's talk about countries that have experimented with shorter work weeks. Iceland, for example, ran a massive trial from 2015 to 2019 where workers shifted to a 35 or 36-hour work week with no pay cut. The results? Workers reported it less stress, better work-life balance, and no drop in productivity. In fact, workplaces saw an increase in output. Then there's Sweden, which tested a 6-hour workday in some industries. Nurses who participated reported feeling happier and healthier, and patient care improved. And let's not forget Japan, where companies like Microsoft Japan tested a 4-day work week and saw a 40% boost in productivity. Incredible. So why aren't more countries jumping on this trend? Well, old habits die hard. Plus, the fear that fewer hours mean less work getting done. But the data suggests otherwise. What do you think? Do you think we should be switching to a lesser work week? Are you working lesser than 40 hours a week or more than 40 hours a week? What are the pros and cons? Let me know. Hit me up at podcast.javielito.com and leave me a comment. I'm curious to know. Let's geek out for a second and look at the numbers. A 2021 study by the University of Reading found that 63% of businesses offering a 4-day workweek reported improved productivity. And a survey by the Henley Business School in the UK showed that 78% of employees with a shorter work week were happier and less stressed. But it's not all sunshine and shorter hours. Some critics argue that a shorter work week could lead to burnout if employees are forced to cram the same amount of work in fewer days. And in industries like healthcare or retail, where coverage is essential, it's harder to implement. So what's the verdict? Is the 40-hour work week still the way to go? Or is it time to embrace shorter hours? Honestly, it depends on the industry, the job, and the culture. But one thing for sure, the way we work is evolving. Maybe it's time to rethink the grind and focus on what really matters. Quality over quantity. So, amigos, what do you think? Should we stick to the 40-hour work week, or is it time for a change? Let me know by leaving a comment on this episode of the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to me on, or by visiting and leaving me a comment at podcast.javielito, that's with a double O.com. Well, familia, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Javielito, Tacos Are Life y Más. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this podcast with your friends and family. It helps us bring these important stories to light and share the knowledge. Y until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, life is a taco, savor every bite. Adios.